Now, with music being an incredibly hard industry to break into, and essentially being everywhere and free, you have to give the listeners a reason to want to boogie on down into your songs. Now, Aaron Copland, American composer, broke down music into 4 different categories: melody, harmony, rhythm, and tone color. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can add variations into successive choruses and verses using rhythm. Now I'm going to show you 4 different types of rhythmic variations that I like to use, and at the end of this video I'll do a demonstration of each of those rhythmic variations against a bass line riff. So before we get too far, let's check out the riff. Alright, now the basics to setting up and understanding your rhythm is being able to count, usually to 4, sometimes to 3. Now this song's in 4/4, which is standard time, but instead of thinking it in 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm actually counting the 8th note, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now for me it's actually easier to just think of each 8th note as 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of an and, 1 and, 2 and, that sort of thing. So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to get through my 4. And the way I'm breaking this riff up is in 3 to 5 to 3 to 5 and then 4, 4, 4, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that sort of thing. Alright, so the first type of variation you can add in is either speeding up or slowing down the feel. If your initial riff is really fast, you might want to slow it down. So if you're playing 8th notes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you feel like that's a little fast, and you want to kind of slow it down to get more power in the second verse, you might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Something like that, and just let the chord ring out. Or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is what that kind of change up would sound like. Something like that. Now in this case I feel like this is a pretty steady beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what I like to do is add tension and release into my variations. So what I'm actually wanting to do is speed this up into counts of 16. Now it's a lot harder to count to 16 at tempo. So that's where you want to do the 1 and 2 and. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is break this verse down into 2 different sections. You got the chord changes, the and then the steady. Now I'm going to use the steady as a release, kind of makes sense, and I'm going to put the tension in the chord changes. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm going to put the speed here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and then come to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the power at the second part. So you got the tension building and then the release. Now one of the other things I like to do, instead of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, is I'm actually going to play the second chord on the 4th beat of the first measure. That way it's essentially a dotted half note and then a whole note with an extra beat. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like that just adds a little bit more power. So it'll sound a little bit like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now another fairly simple way to add in rhythmic dynamics is to put in stingers and hits, something that emphasizes a melody or brings out an offbeat. So if the melody is whoa, 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 well on the whoa, 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 that whoa is kind of an important part. So maybe you want to go whoa, 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 whoa. And so you're hitting the important notes of the melody. Another thing you can do, especially on guitar, is if you're playing power chords, you're getting the low notes. So throw in some of the high note stingers from the barred chord. So maybe something like it doesn't really change the count or the feel, but that extra emphasis of the high notes makes the rhythm kind of jump out at people. Another thing you can do, especially on guitar and piano, is go from the chord you're playing to the fourth. So on guitar, if you're playing a bar chord and you just jump up a string, you're now playing the fourth of that chord. So you can do something like this to add a little bit of variation with rhythm and a little bit of harmony. And to finish up with the hits and stingers, on the guitar, you have this nice little pick scrape on muted strings that you can really throw in anywhere, and it just adds a little bit more variety and spice to your rhythm. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can do. Another way you can add spice to your rhythms is to play against expectations. So if you're playing a steady 4 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, you might want to play the offbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Or if you're letting the chords ring, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe make them staccato. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see how it would sound different going versus. Just that little bit of change can spice it up. Another way you can play against expectations is to leave the bass and drums doing exactly what they're doing and change how the rhythm guitar is playing. So if the bass and drums are coming in on the first of each count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe the guitar comes in on the second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that will be noticeable and add a little bit of interest without changing the structure too much. So the last type of rhythmic variation I'm going to go over is changing the way you count. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to switch it to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And the reason I'm going to do that is so that I can add in a tension, release, and build. And so what's going to happen is this first 3 count, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to put in some tension, and then this 2 count is going to be the release, or almost like a power, and then the final 3 count, 1, 2, 3, is just going to be building back into the next section where I go to here. So I'm still feeling this in counts of 8, but what I'm going to do to start off on this F chord is I'm going to play 3 quick 16th notes, and then rest until I get to the 1, 2 part. So that's going to be my tension. So instead of 1, 2, 3, it's 1, 2, 3. And then when I come to this A flat chord, I'm just going to let it ring for 2 8th notes. That's going to be my release, or almost like a power, like it kind of is like drawing up and then like the power. So it's like build and then release. And from there, you could easily just go 1, 2, 3 to build into the next one, and that's a nice build, but I actually want to put the build on the offbeats. That way it's a tension followed by a release, but then on the build it's a little bit behind the beat, which makes it feel like you're being pulled back into the next measure. So it'll be something like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And that last little is going to lead directly into the next chord with no 8th notes in between, and that way you're feeling the build and it's going right back into the tension and then to the release here. And then when I come to this B flat chord, I'm going to think of it in counts of 4, because for the riff as a whole, that's actually the release of the tension. But instead of playing it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to go back to that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, because I think that adds a little bit of tension into the smooth part without going too much. And I'm going to play that same little 16th note pattern just to give a little bit of variation. Now to end that riff, I'm going to do a little climb from F to G to A flat, just to signal that we're going back into the pattern. So within the pattern, I've got it broken up into 2 sections: the 4 chord section, and then the 1 chord section. And in the 4 chord section, there's tension and release. but then in the entire riff, there's also tension from the 4 chord pattern that's released into the 1 chord and then finished on a build back into the pattern. So those are the 4 ways I like to add a little bit of spice and a little bit of variety to my rhythms. Take it, use it, improve upon it, expand on it. Go out there, write great songs, follow the music, own the show. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share this video if you enjoyed it. Follow me on Instagram at @B_Rowen for cool pictures of sunsets and me playing the guitar and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And I will see you in the next one. B-Row out.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.